We're going deep, deep into Hindu mythology, specifically the Brahma Purana. It's like this massive, think of it like a cosmic encyclopedia, really, of ancient Hindu beliefs and stories. And the source material we're using for this deep dive is an audio excerpt that lays out a truly mind-boggling timeline of the universe, focusing on Manvantaras, these epochs ruled by different Manus. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Why should I care about some ancient timeline?
Right.
But stick with us, because this isn't just about, memorizing names and dates. It's a window, a fascinating window into how an ancient culture viewed time itself, creation, and this cyclical nature of existence. It's really fascinating.
Yeah. What's really fascinating to me about the Brahma Purana is that it doesn't present time in a linear way like we often do. Instead, it's presented as this incredible cycle of creation and destruction, a cosmic wheel that just keeps turning. Each Manvantara is like a mini universe within this larger cycle with its own rulers, its own sages, and even its own set of gods.
It's like a whole new set of rules for each round of the game, almost. The excerpt we're exploring really dives deep into the lineage of these Manus, starting with the very first one, Swayambhu Manu, and tracing the lineage all the way to the 14th Manu, who, get this, hasn't even been born yet. We're talking billions of years here. And get this, it goes on to, the text doesn't just name each Manu, it lists their sons. Some with really pretty incredible names, like Tapohut, which means born of austerity, and Aklamasha, meaning stainless. What do you make of these names? What can they tell us about how ancient Hindus viewed these figures and their roles in creation?
It's really interesting, right? I mean, these names are far from random. They were carefully chosen to represent the qualities and attributes associated with each figure. For example, the sons of the first Manu, they represent different aspects of creation itself. So you have Virajas, associated with detachment and moving beyond earthly desires. Priyavrata, representing the expansion of creation and dominion over the earth. And then there's Uttanapada, symbolizing an upward striving for spiritual elevation.
So it's like each son embodies a different path or principle within the cosmic order. It's almost like each name is a clue pointing towards a deeper understanding of their purpose.
Exactly. And this idea that names hold power, you know, that they can influence destiny, that's very present throughout Hindu mythology.
And speaking of clues, another thing that really stood out to me is that each Manvantara has its own set of Saptarishis, 7 sages who are considered the wisest beings of their time.
Ah, yes, the Saptarishis. They're like a guiding light for humanity, almost a council of wisdom that helps navigate each epoch.
And it's fascinating how their lineage often connects across multiple Manvantaras, right?
Yeah.
Suggesting this incredible continuity of wisdom and spiritual knowledge passed down through generations. Like, whoa.
It's like they're passing the torch of knowledge, ensuring that the flame never goes out, even as the universe, cycles through creation and destruction.
And here's where things get really wild. The excerpt describes how some of these sages actually survive the destruction at the end of each Manvantara and carry over into the next one. It's like they hold the keys to cosmic survival.
Yeah, it's a mind-blowing concept, isn't it? But for ancient Hindus, this wasn't science fiction. This was real. It was a way of understanding the continuity of wisdom, the deep interconnectedness of existence across vast cosmic timescales. Like, wow.
It really challenges our typical linear view of life and death, right?
Yeah.
It's suggesting that existence is far more fluid and interconnected than we often imagine. Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about a specific Manu, Vaivasvata Manu, considered to be the ancestor of the current human race, us. He's got that dramatic origin story involving the sun god Surya, his wife Sanjna, and a shadow wife Chaya.
Right, and it's fascinating how Chaya gives birth to Shani, the planet Saturn, who embodies karma and life's challenging lessons.
Yeah.
And this connection between Vaivasvata Manu and Shani, it suggests that from the very beginning, humanity is intertwined with these forces of karma, this need to learn and grow through, those trials and tribulations.
Like we're hardwired for challenges, almost designed to face obstacles and learn from them in a way.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Perhaps those challenges aren't something to be avoided, but embraced as opportunities for growth and evolution.
Vaivasvata Manu has 10 sons. And some of their names might be familiar if you've explored Hindu mythology before.
Yes, like Ikshvaku, who is said to be the ancestor of, Lord Rama, the hero of the epic Ramayana.
It's incredible how these lineages, they weave together, right? Connecting different figures and stories within the broader Hindu tradition. It's like uncovering a hidden tapestry, revealing a much larger and more intricate picture than we initially imagined.
Exactly. And it's not just the suns that are important here. Remember, each Manvantara has its own set of Saptarishis, those wise sages. During Vivasvata Manu's reign, the Saptarishis include some pretty prominent names, like Kashyapa, Atri, and Vaishishta.
It's like having this incredible council of wisdom advising the leader of humanity, their insights and guidance. I mean, they must have been invaluable.
Absolutely. They're credited with, composing many important hymns and texts. Their wisdom guiding humanity through countless challenges.
Okay, so we've talked about the Manus of the past, but get this. The Brahma Purana even mentions Manus who haven't been born yet. It talks about future Manus, like Savarni Manu and Daksha Savarni Manu. It's like they're giving us a glimpse into a timeline that extends far beyond our comprehension.
This emphasis on future Manus really reinforces that cyclical view of time that we've been talking about.
Right.
It suggests that this cosmic dance of creation and destruction, it will continue on indefinitely, with each Manvantara representing a unique chapter in this ongoing saga.
It's mind-boggling to even think about.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got these vast Manvantaras, each with its own Manu, its own set of sages, its own stories, its own challenges. But to really understand this system, I think we need to zoom in a little further and explore the concept of yugas, the cyclical epochs within each Manvantara. These yugas, they represent different stages of spiritual and moral development, adding another layer of complexity to this grand cosmic timeline.
Yes, the yugas are essential to understanding how time unfolds within each Manvantara and how human consciousness is thought to evolve over these vast stretches of time.
It's all about cycles within cycles. It makes our modern, linear view of time seem, almost simplistic.
From the perspective of the Brahma Purana, it's not just a straight line from point A to point B. It's a spiral, a dance of progress and decline, creation and destruction.
So let's unpack these yugas a bit further. There are four main ones: Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dvapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. Each one is said to have its own distinct characteristics and spiritual qualities, almost like setting the stage for a different act in the cosmic drama.
That's a great way to put it. It's not just a change in scenery; it's a change in the very fabric of reality.
So tell me what distinguishes each of these yugas? What makes them unique?
Well, let's start with Satya Yuga, often referred to as the Golden Age. It's depicted as a time of purity, virtue, and widespread spiritual enlightenment. People are said to be naturally righteous, living in harmony with both each other and nature.
It sounds idyllic.
It does, doesn't it? A time of peace and abundance.
But like all golden ages, it doesn't last forever. What happens next in this cosmic cycle?
Well, as time progresses, we move into Treta Yuga. And here, virtue starts to decline a little bit, and human lifespans, they decrease.
Yeah.
But it's still a time of great spiritual potential, just with a few more obstacles along the way.
It's like the Silver Age, right? Still shining brightly, but with a hint of tarnish compared to the Golden Age.
Exactly.
And then comes Dvapara Yuga, where things take a more noticeable downturn.
Yes. In Dvapara Yuga, virtue declines further. And we see a rise in conflict and materialism. It's a time when the balance, tips further away from spiritual pursuits.
So the cracks are starting to show in this once pristine cosmic order.
That's a good way to put it.
And finally, we arrive at Kali Yuga, the age we're said to be living in now.
Yes, Kali Yuga is described as an age of widespread ignorance, strife, and a focus on material possessions over spiritual growth.
It paints a pretty bleak picture of our current state of affairs.
It does, doesn't it? But remember, even in Kali Yuga, there's always the potential for spiritual growth and liberation. It's just that the challenges are greater and the path is more difficult.
So it's not a hopeless situation. There's still room for individual transformation, even amidst the chaos.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm curious, how long do these yugas last? I mean, we're talking about cosmic timescales here.
That's right. We're dealing with incredibly vast periods of time. Satya Yuga is said to last for 1,728,000 years. Treta Yuga for 1,296,000 years. Dvapara Yuga for 864,000 years. And Kali Yuga for 432,000 years.
Wow, those are numbers that are hard to even fathom. It makes our human lifespan seem like blink of an eye.
It really does. put things in perspective, doesn't it?
It certainly does. If we're currently in Kali Yuga, which is said to be the darkest of the yugas, does that mean things are just going to keep getting worse? Is it all downhill from here?
Not necessarily. Remember, the yugas are cyclical. So after Kali Yuga ends, a new Satya Yuga begins, and the cycle starts anew.
So it's not a downward spiral. It's a spiral that keeps cycling upward and downward, upward and downward.
Exactly. It's a never-ending dance of creation and destruction, light and darkness, progress and decline.
And within this vast cosmic dance, each of us has a role to play.
Yes, and understanding the yugas can help us understand where we are in this grand cycle, and how we can best navigate the challenges and the opportunities of our time.
It's a framework for understanding our place in the universe, both individually and collectively. It encourages us to see beyond the immediate moment and connect to a much larger, more expansive view of time and existence.
And to see the potential for both darkness and light, decline and renewal within ourselves and the world around us. They provide this framework for living a fulfilling life. They guide you through different phases of your experience and help you balance material and spiritual pursuits.
Almost like a roadmap for navigating the different chapters of life, so to speak.
Exactly. The first stage is brahmacharya, the student stage.
So this is where you're focused on learning, absorbing knowledge from teachers and mentors, kind of like what we're doing right now, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a time dedicated to gaining knowledge,
Right.
developing discipline, and cultivating those important virtues.
It sounds like a pretty intense period of personal growth,
It was considered a critical foundation for the rest of life, really.
like laying the groundwork for everything that comes after.
Precisely. And then comes grahasta, the householder stage.
So this is where you step into those more worldly responsibilities,
Right.
settling down, maybe getting married, starting a family, becoming a contributing member of society.
You got it. It's a time for fulfilling those responsibilities
Yeah.
to your family, to your community, and to the world around you.
I imagine this stage would have been especially crucial back then, when families relied on each other for survival and everything.
Absolutely. And it was also seen as a time for continued spiritual growth through fulfilling those duties and responsibilities.
So it's not just about material success, but also about finding spiritual fulfillment through your actions in the world.
Exactly. Then we transition to the third stage, vanaprastha, the forest stroller stage.
This one always intrigued me. What exactly did a forest dweller? Did they literally live in the forest?
Traditionally, yes. It involved withdrawing from worldly affairs and retreating to the forest to dedicate more time to spiritual practices.
Like a spiritual retreat almost. A time for deep introspection and connection with nature.
You could see that.
Yeah.
It's a time for contemplation, introspection, and strengthening your connection with the divine.
I can see how this stage would be a natural progression after the householder stage.
Right.
You've fulfilled your worldly duties, you've raised your family, and now you're turning your attention inwards.
Exactly. It's a time for shifting priorities and focusing on those deeper existential questions.
And this leads to the final stage, sannyasa, the renunciate stage.
Right. This is the stage of complete detachment from worldly possessions and attachments. It's a time dedicated entirely to seeking spiritual liberation.
So it's about letting go of everything that binds you to the material world,
Yeah.
and fully embracing the spiritual path.
Precisely. It's a radical path, but one deeply rooted in the wisdom of the Brahma Purana and other ancient texts.
These four ashramas, they offer such a different perspective on the arc of a human life compared to how we often think about it today. They guide us through these distinct phases of experience, encouraging us to find balance between material and spiritual pursuits at each stage.
And they remind us that life is a journey with
Yeah.
different chapters, each with its own purpose and challenges.
I love that analogy of life as a journey. It really captures the essence of these ashramas.
It's not about rushing to the finish line. It's about savoring,
Right.
savoring each step along the way.
And speaking of journeys, this whole discussion about manvantaras and yugas, it has me thinking about how differently ancient cultures perceive time compared to us.
It's a fascinating contrast, isn't it?
We're constantly checking our watches, rushing from one appointment to the next, trying to squeeze as much as possible into our days. But ancient cultures, like those who composed the Brahma Purana, they seem to have this much grander, more expansive view of time.
The concept of time was cyclical, constantly renewing itself. And this view, it permeates not just their cosmology, but their entire worldview.
So instead of seeing time as this linear progression, always marching forward, they saw it as this eternal dance of creation and destruction.
Exactly, and this perspective, it has profound implications for how they understood some of life's biggest questions, like life, death, and the very purpose of existence.
I'm really curious to explore that further. How did this cyclical view of time shape their understanding of those big existential questions?
Well, for starters, it challenged the idea that death was a definitive end.
So instead of a full stop, it was more like a comma.
A great analogy.
Yeah.
They view death as a transition point within a much larger cycle of reincarnation.
Not the final curtain, but rather a change of scene in a play that continues.
Exactly.
And this belief in reincarnation, so central to many Eastern philosophies, it goes hand in hand with the concept of karma, right? The idea that actions have consequences that extend beyond this lifetime.
Exactly. Your actions are like seeds you plant. They have the potential to bear fruit in future lifetimes.
It's a powerful concept, right? This idea that we're constantly shaping our future selves through our actions in the present.
It encourages us to live ethically and strive for spiritual growth, knowing that our choices have a ripple effect across lifetime.
It's like a cosmic accountability system. You can't just hit the reset button at the end of each life.
And this sense of accountability, it adds another dimension to how we think about living our lives.
It certainly gives you pause before doing something you might regret.
It encourages us to live with greater awareness.
Yeah.
And intention, knowing that our actions have far-reaching consequences.
So if life is viewed as this ongoing cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, what's the ultimate goal? What are we striving for?
That's the question, isn't it? And it's one that has been pondered by philosophers and spiritual seekers for centuries.
Yeah.
In many Eastern traditions, like those rooted in the Brahma Purana, the ultimate goal is to achieve liberation or moksha, which means breaking free from the cycle of reincarnation.
So it's not just about living a good life and then being reborn. It's about transcending the cycle altogether.
Exactly. Imagine like escaping a hamster wheel of endless lifetimes.
It's a pretty ambitious goal, but how do you actually achieve that liberation?
The path to liberation is through spiritual enlightenment, realizing the true nature of the self and its connection to the divine.
It sounds like a profound journey of self-discovery and transformation.
It is.
And I imagine the Brahma Purana, with all its wisdom and stories, offers some guidance on this path.
Absolutely. It emphasizes practices like meditation, yoga, and ethical living as ways to cultivate spiritual growth and move towards liberation.
So it's not just about understanding these concepts intellectually, but about actually embodying them in your life.
Exactly. It's about aligning yourself with the natural rhythms of the universe and recognizing your place within the grand scheme of things.
Which brings us to the concept of dharma, right? This idea of living in accordance with your purpose.
Yes. Dharma is often translated as duty or right conduct, but it's much broader than that. It encompasses your unique purpose in life, your individual contribution to the cosmic order.
So it's like figuring out your role in this grand play of of existence.
Precisely. And fulfilling your dharma is seen as essential for spiritual progress and ultimately for achieving liberation.
It makes you think, doesn't it? What is our dharma? What unique gifts and talents do we bring to this world, and how can we use them to make a positive impact?
These are important questions to reflect on.
And I feel like the Brahma Purana, with its intricate tapestry of stories and teachings, it invites us to explore these questions and discover our own answers.
I agree.
We've covered so much ground today, from these vast cosmic cycles to the concepts of karma, reincarnation, dharma, and even the stages of life. It's been a truly mind-expanding exploration of ancient wisdom.
It really has.
But before we move on, there's one more aspect of the Brahma Purana I'd like to touch on, and that's its deep connection to the natural world.
Ah, yes. The Brahma Purana is filled with stories about gods and goddesses who embody various aspects of nature, from the sun and moon to the mountains and rivers.
It's almost as if the divine is woven into the very fabric of the natural world.
Exactly. And this reverence for nature is something we can learn a lot from today, especially considering the challenges our planet faces.
It's a reminder that we're not separate from nature, but an integral part of it.
And that we have a responsibility to care for the earth and all its creatures.
It's like the Brahma Purana is reminding us that we're all interconnected, humans and nature alike.
Precisely. And this interconnectedness, it's essential for our own well-being as well as the health of the planet.
It's a beautiful message, and one that feels incredibly relevant in our modern world.
It's a call to remember our place within the web of life, and to act in ways that honor that connection.
I think we've reached a good point to pause for now.
I do.
But before we do, I want to leave our listeners with something to ponder. As we've seen, the Brahma Purana presents this vast and complex worldview filled with intricate cycles, profound philosophical ideas, and a deep reverence for nature.
It's a system that encourages us to expand our perspective.
Yeah.
And see the world in new ways.
And while it might seem overwhelming at first, it's also incredibly inspiring.
It is.
Because it reminds us that we're part of something much bigger than ourselves.
Yes. And that even amidst chaos and change, there's an underlying order to the universe. An order
reflected in the cycles of time, the laws of karma, and the interconnectedness of all things.
And the Brahma Purana, it invites us to explore this order, to contemplate its mysteries, and to discover our place within it.
As you go about your day, try to see the world through this lens. Look for the cycles, the connections, the underlying patterns that bind us all together.
And perhaps in doing so, you'll gain a deeper appreciation for the beauty and wonder of existence itself.
Beautifully said. We'll continue our deep dive into the Brahma Purana in the next part of this episode. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep discovering.